Or best choice, BEFM, 부산 영어방송.
9년 전 한국에서의 새로운 출발을 위해 부산을 처음 찾은 프랭크. 부산의 자연과 사람, 부산에서 누리는 모든 것을 사랑하는 그는 부산의 변함없는 한대에 늘 감탄합니다.
I think that Busan people are actually very, very kind and very welcoming. If I seemed a little lost, there was always someone that was there to ask me if I needed help. They're more seriously friendly than it's very serious. I very seriously want to help you.
부산의 한결같은 모습도 늘 감동을 주지만 이제는 부산의 미래를 꿈꾸며 2030년 부산의 새로운 도약을 기대합니다.
Busan people are very proud of their city. They want to share the city with everyone. If we get the World Expo, it'll really put Busan on a global map.
세계 박람회가 어울리는 도시, 미래를 향한 힘찬 도약. 부산에서 출발한 파도는 이미 세계를 향해 뻗어나가고 있습니다. 2030 부산 세계 박람회. 부산이 시작하고 대한민국이 함께 이뤄갑니다. 이 캠페인은 지역과 함께하는 든든한 동반자 BNK 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Coming up next is Inside Out Busan with Min-Soo Shin. BEFM 부산 영어방송.
Hello, and welcome to a rainy Tuesday edition of Inside Out Busan. I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. 여러분은 하루 중 넵을 몇 번씩 쓰시나요? So how many times do you use the response 넵 during the day? So if you're working, in an office, you probably find yourself using 넵, which is the most appropriate response quite frequently when it comes to responding to your boss or colleagues. 네 may come across as a bit more formal, and 냉 might seem a bit too casual. So we call this attitude the 넵병 or the 넵 syndrome, which can make you feel a bit more lethargic at work. 저도 자주 쓰는데 넵.
Hey boy, look, I'm gonna make this simple for you. You got two choices, yes or yes. 둘 중에 하나만 골라 yes or yes. 하나만 선택했어 yes or yes. 내가 이렇게도 이기적이었던가 뭔가 이렇게 갖고 싶던 적 있었나 놀라 내 뻔뻔함에 Come on and tell me yes. 생각보다 꽉감해진 나의 시나리오 이 정도 플랜이면 완벽해 만족해 I don't care 누가 뭐래도 You better tell me yes. 내 맘은 정했어 yes. 그럼 이제 네 대답을 들을 차례 힘들면 보기를 줄게 넌 고르기만 해 고민할 필요도 없게 해줄게 뭘 고를지 몰라 준비해봤어 둘 중에 하나만 골라 yes or yes. 네 마음을 몰라 준비해봤어 하나만 선택했어 yes or yes. 싫어는 싫어 너 아니면 우리 선택을 존중해 거절은 거절해 선택지는 하나 자 선택은 네 맘 It's all up to you. 둘 중에 하나만 골라 yes or yes. 진심일까 눈앞에 진심이니 눈앞에 애매한 자우 말고 확실히 위아래로 There's no letters and no 지워버릴래 오늘부로 복잡하게 고민할 필요 없어 정답은 yes yes yo. 어떤 이기심도 자극하는 너의 눈과 널 향한 호기심이 만나서 타올라 떠오른다 My heart boom boom boom. You better hurry up. 조금 쉽게 말하자면 넌 뭘 골라도 날 만나게 될
yes or yes. Nep or nep. That was by Twice to open up our show. Welcome everybody. This is the first hour of Inside Out Busan. I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. 여러분, 안녕하십니까? How is your Tuesday? Probably for a lot of you, it's been wet. Yeah. I was kind of thrown off by the rain today. I think I did mention rain is expected today. I think I mentioned that probably throughout the show yesterday, but I'm the one that I didn't take my own words to advise, and I came out with no umbrella. I actually took the subway today to work, and then I come out to grab a quick bite because I've been here pretty early in the day, and then it was raining. It was raining a lot, so I'll give you a weather update later on in our program. I'm crossing my fingers that the rain has stopped, okay? All right, Annie, I'll switch it over to my camera. Sorry, right? I always do this. I always switch over to the camera that shows my face. Well, hello, everybody on our YouTubes, as well to all of our listeners on our radio. I'm Min-Soo Shin. Welcome to the first hour of Inside Out Busan. So yes, saying yes, right? Here in Korea, you know, it's probably your work that has made a lot of you yes men or women. But it's not yes. 요즘 그냥 네가 아니잖아요. If you think about it, employees use nep a lot, the most, right, at the workplace. Sometimes even in situations where you find, let's say, like your boss's instructions, like unfair, or maybe you don't fully understand what a person is telling you to do, you habitually respond with the affirmative nep to navigate the situation and avoid confrontation. Now, I don't advise this, saying yes to something that you don't understand. 저는 조금 눈치 없이 왜요? 라고 물어보기도 하고요. 모르겠는데요? 라고도 가끔씩 대답하긴 해요. But nep is the habitual response for a lot of workers here in Korea. In fact, according to statistics, right, 7 out of 10 employees seem to be afflicted with what's called the nepbyung. This is the yes byung, or the yes syndrome, consistently responding with nep regardless of their own emotions, right? Even when they don't fully understand, let's say, their boss's instructions. And this nepbyung, answering nep to everything, can be a cause of burnout, right? So I know I've probably, probably alerted a lot of our listeners that do work at companies, or maybe not even you work at companies, you find yourself saying nep to everything, right? To friends, to family. The only people I say nep to are just people that I work with here at the radio station, and I believe my wife. Those are the only people I answer yes to, right? Because you can't answer anything else, right? With those kinds of situations. But I recently found out that nep, like how you use nep and what kind of like characters follow in your text messages, they could take on various meaning. So let's say you answer nep with one exclamation mark. This means 뭐 딱히 할 말 없는데 뭐 버릇없이 보이긴 싫어서요. 이렇게 대답합니다. So it's usually like a nep or like a nep with an exclamation mark. So it means that you don't have much to say, but you don't want to seem impolite. So you answer yes with the nep. Now a nep with 2 exclamation marks means 그래 지금 할 거를 최대한 강조하는 중이라고 막 이렇게 합니다. So you're emphasizing that yes, I will do it right now. That's 2 exclamation marks followed by the nep. And maybe a nep with the 히읗, like the haha at the end, right? You know what this means? This means 알겠으니까 그만 말해주길 바람, right? It means like, all right, but can you please stop talking about it? Like, I understand. Being very passive-aggressive there. Then I mentioned there's the 냉. 냉, 알겠습니다. 냉. 대답은 하겠지만 이따가 할 거라고 뜻입니다. Yes, I'll respond yes, but I'm going to do it later. Just to let you know through my response, 냉. And then there's 네 with the question mark. You can't answer nep with a question mark, right? That's one thing that you have to understand. Nep means affirmative. Yes, I understand. But 네 means huh? Kind of. It means 뭐라고? Or 혹시 저의 탓하는 겁니까? Right? 속으로 분노하는 중이죠. So it's like, what did you say? Are you blaming me on this? And there's that inner anger coming up. So lots of ways that workers here in Korea, just Koreans in general, use 냅. 직장인의 냅병을 조금 분석했는데요. So I want to find out from you, our listeners. In what situations do you say 냅 in your daily life? Do you do it at work? Do you do it at school? Do you even do it with your family? Like I said, I do 냅 with my wife sometimes, right? Just to yes, sir, affirmative, sir, right? 여러분은 어떤 상황에서 냅이라고 대답하십니까? I'm really curious. Let me know. pound 9050 샵 9050 will cost you 100 won. You can let me know on our Kakao Talk or on our YouTubes. We are live, so get in touch with us there. Let's get to today's news bites. All right, News Bites with BFM newscaster Annie in the studio with me. Hi, Annie.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm actually pretty upbeat.
Nice. High five, right? Annie, do you use 냅 a lot?
I do.
How often? I guess it's really hard to count, especially if you do it a lot, right?
It's anytime a producer, PD님, messages me.
So basically, just anybody here at the studio, right?
Pretty
Unless
much.
it's like, like a fellow kind of like freelancer / coworker, anybody near like the vicinity of your age, right?
Yeah. Anytime I'm trying to be friendly, but also
Yeah.
be like, got it.
Uh-huh.
I use 냅. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it's only to PD님's.
Right? And that makes sense, right?
I just feel like 네 is too stiff.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mentioned to our listeners. There's too formal or too polite.
Or I sound mad.
Yeah, exactly. Or you're kind of you want to vent a little bit to who you're responding to, but not make it too obvious. So like a 네,
네.
right?
네.
And a 네 followed by a period sometimes too. It's like 네, end of conversation. I'm
just
done
hate
with
periods
this.
in general and casual chatting.
Yeah. So it's like it's hard to analyze what that one 냅 or 네 can mean here in
Yeah.
Korea, right?
I'm
I
just
guess
kind of okay, got it.
yeah, right? But then in America, I guess, yes or even just a no. People tend to maybe also overanalyze
Right.
responses too.
Or if you send just a simple okay.
Yeah, exactly.
She mad.
Right? There you go, right? So you know what I'm talking about. All right, Annie, so news bites, what do you got for us today?
Right, first we do have to talk about DP leader Lee Jae-myung. So it has been more than, I believe, now 7 hours since the main opposition Democratic Party leader's court hearing began. It actually began at 10:07 a.m. this morning to decide whether he will be arrested on broad corruption allegations. And again, here, Lee is being investigated over various criminal allegations. This includes accusations that he provided unlawful favors to a private investor that kind of reaped huge benefits from a real estate project scandal in Seongnam while he was mayor. And then prosecutors also believe that Lee pressured Sangbangul Group into sending large amounts of money in illegal payments to North Korea because he was trying to set up a visit to North Korea, but never materialized. So at 4:15 p.m., it was reported that they began the review of Lee's subornation of perjury case. Perjury is when you give a false statement in court.
Yeah, it's pretty serious stuff.
Right. It was also said that the prosecution prepared a 500-slide presentation, again, 500, for the warrant examination, and also handed in a 10,500-page written statement.
Goodness.
I think it's going to be typed.
That's a couple boxes worth of pages, right?
Right.
All right, so the drama continues when it comes to Lee Jae-myung. What's going to come next?
Well, the court is expected to decide by late tonight or maybe early Wednesday, tomorrow morning, on whether to approve an arrest warrant. So once the examination is completed, Lee Jae-myung will be moved to the Seoul Detention Center to await these results. And Lee has consistently denied legal wrongdoing and accused the Yoon government of pushing a political vendetta. But reporters said that he had been diligently answering all of the judge's questions, or more so that his attorney answered and he added on to it. But it was, again, observed that his current health condition is not so good.
Okay. So we're going to see how that's going to also affect, right, just the legal process
Right.
That Lee Jae-myung is in the middle of right now. So the latest, right, in that situation, and continue to provide us with updates on that.
Will do.
Next.
Yes, next year's health insurance premium rate has been frozen to remain the same as this year. So the Ministry of Health and Welfare opened a health insurance policy review committee meeting, which is the highest voting body for health insurance policy, and decided to maintain the health insurance premium rate for 2024. And it's actually the first time in 7 years that the health insurance rate has been frozen. The last time was in 2017, and it's actually the third time in history since 2009. And accordingly, the insurance premium rate for next year will be 7.09% for those subscribed through their workplace.
Okay. Now, the third time that's happened in just its history, why was this decision made? And it's kind of unexpectedly, no?
Yeah, so there were many speculations coming out that the health insurance increase rate would be minimal for next year. And in the economic policy direction for the second half of this year that the government released last month, they did kind of hint at keeping it quite minimal. However, the decision to completely freeze the rate is an unusual decision, as we can see. That's not done so often. But the Ministry of Health and Welfare stated that the decision was made in consideration of the recent economic conditions, inflation, high interest rates,
Yes.
everything's expensive. And also seeing that the health insurance finances were relatively stable, they were able to do this.
Okay, yeah. I know for a lot of people, anything that just, when it comes to just money, going out, money that they have to pay, if a rate remains frozen, as long as it's not an increase,
Yeah.
right? That's what a lot of us kind of can give a sigh of relief with, right? Now we can do that with our health insurance for
you.
now.
Yeah, for now.
Right? All right, we're going to get to our last bit of news where let's go international this time.
Right. So last I updated on Nagorno-Karabakh, which is in Azerbaijan. Russian peacemakers had found a way to a ceasefire, and Azerbaijan had then seized the region, stating that it wants to reintegrate the ethnic Armenian population in the region as, quote, equal citizens. However, Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan said that ethnic cleansing was underway, which is terrible. And with this, the ethnic Armenians began a mass exodus back to Armenian land with, it was reported 13,350 refugees having crossed over. This is a large number because the total living there was 120,000. Quite a huge chunk of them had left. National security advisors from Armenia and Azerbaijan are due to meet in Brussels on Tuesday local time for European Union-backed talks. And it'll be the first time diplomatic talks are held since Azerbaijan seized the area.
Okay, now ceasefire is important because that means, less violence between the two sides. But there was just news of an explosion in regards to this.
Yes, unfortunately. So there was an explosion at a fuel depot in Nagorno-Karabakh that has unfortunately killed 20 people and injured nearly 300 people. That's according to local Armenian authorities. And it's not yet clear what caused the explosion, but it has left many in quite severe or just extremely severe condition. And the medical capacities in the area are just not enough to provide proper care, so it is a very precarious situation over there.
Yeah, I'm sure many are hoping that this has nothing to do, because just recently with the ceasefire decision, I mean, something like this, I think it can throw just everything up in the air once again. And real quick, you want to provide us with a Chuseok update?
Just a quick one,
Yeah.
just because the weather was so gloomy and wet today.
맞아요.
Chuseok, though, is looking to be clear and just, not a cloud in the sky. So you can go out and start planning your 달맞이 plans or moon greeting and definitely get your wishes ready because you
Yes.
got to look at that full moon and hope for the best.
맞아요. With Tuesday already, come to a wrap, and all we got to do is just get through tomorrow and then Chuseok, right?
I just want to give a little hope there.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Very much needed. Annie, thank you. That'll do it for today's News Bites. You enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you back here tomorrow, okay?
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I think I like when it rains. You told me to go to the light. And what it's like to feel your pain. Now I'm okay if you're alright. couldn't think of what to say. And all that I can do is stop and think about the days when all we used to dream about was meeting at the school. And we would go on home and start right back again. I think I like when it rains. Call up some friends, we'll have some fun. Oh Lord, I wish things were the same nowadays. We'll go back to your place when we're done. And I got nothing else to blame. I wish the world would come to me. We stay at your place while it rains. We party while your mom's asleep. And I couldn't find the words. I couldn't think of what to say. And all that I can do is stop and think about the days when all we used to dream about was meeting at the school. And we would go on home and start right back again. Kick it, Will. And I couldn't find the words. I couldn't think of what to say. And all that I can do is stop and think about the days when all we used to dream about was meeting at the school. And we would go on home and start right back again. We would go on home and start back again.
And that was Willis with I Think I Like When It Rains. There's actually probably a good amount of people out there tuning in that are enjoying the weather that we're having today. Yes, rain is on the menu tonight. And since, I want to say like right after lunch too. Like I said, silly me, I didn't take my own words to heart. I shared with you during the first hour, during the second hour, there's going to be rain on Monday in parts of Busan. If you can, pack your umbrella. And then me deciding to take the subway today, I did not bring an umbrella with me, right? So goes to show you how much I listen to my own words. But yes, in terms of the weather, our city averaging 23 degrees. Tomorrow, expecting morning low of 22 and an afternoon high of 28. We're in this very awkward stage of end of summer, beginning of fall. Because it was really chilly early in the morning. I was out very early today, and I have like a pretty thick shirt on. It's a denim shirt. I don't know why I chose this for today, but yeah, and I was like sweating by lunchtime, right? I mean, I guess I could take it off, but then I got to carry it with me the whole time. Kichanism, right? Just coming out. But today's rain brought some cooler air to most of the country. Now, it will be mostly sunny tomorrow, which is good news. So please have, I guess, a jacket that will take you through like the warmer periods, like around the afternoon time. Much improved weather conditions are in store, as Annie said, for the long Chuseok holiday. Sunny skies with chillier air. Chillier, I like that, right? With more chilly air. Best weather, in my opinion, right? It's sweater weather, but you could still go with shorts. Go out with shorts. 내일부터 추석 연휴까지 부산은 맑지만 아침 저녁 기온은 많이 낮아지겠습니다. 옷차림에 유의하시기 바랍니다. When it comes to our traffic, we have congestion on 가야대로 from 낙동대교 going towards 사상구 Office Junction. There's also congestion on 수영로 from Taeyeon Junction going towards Daenam Junction. And then we have slow-moving traffic on 백양대로 from 당감 입구 3-way intersection going towards 진양 Junction. Everybody, drive safe 부탁드릴게요. All right, we have messages coming in on our YouTube. So we have JB님 saying 잘생긴 형. JB님 are talking about. Did you just give a little
아니
laugh?
없는데 어디? Where?
Well, if you
We're
log
making
onto our
things up?
YouTubes,
Oh, there it
Hailey,
is. There it
right?
is. Sorry. I'm like, I will say
Not
it.
my words. I'm
I
not
just don't
putting
see
words
it.
in our listeners'
I'm
mouths.
just not seeing it.
JB님이 그랬습니다. 근데
네.
JB님, how dare you? How do you know I'm your 형? I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for the compliment. You also said 아늑한 노래, referring to the Willis song that we just played, just in time, right, for the weather. Also, we have 토끼님 saying 전 시어머니 문자에 자주 쓰는데 like that nep. So Hailey, today we're talking about nep병.
Oh,
the nep syndrome.
I have it.
You have it? Yeah.
Serious case of 뇌병.
I feel like you would have it.
네. 넵.
잘한다.
알겠습니다.
잘해요. 근데 토끼님은 약간 찔림, like I've been talking about, right? Certain situation you would use nep. So she uses 네 or 앗. What's 앗?
앗, it's like, oh, right. 앗 is admission of guilt. It's like, 앗, 제가 이메일을 아직 안 보냈나요? 앗, 맞죠? 앗, 바로 보내드릴게요. It's admission of guilt.
Oh, I see. So 토끼님 이런 거 자주 보냈는데 앞으로는 더 길게 보내야겠어요. So like just not with just like single character responses.
Add emojis. 토끼님 just emoticons.
Yeah, emojis and emoticons, they kind of like, set the tone like a little softer, right?
And I also like the 물결 exclamation. So I do 냉 물결 exclamation.
Oh, that's important.
Yeah.
That's important.
The 물결s. After a certain age, you cannot carry on a conversation without the squiggly line.
맞아요.
It looks too curt otherwise.
You should write a book on this.
I should.
You should.
Modern etiquette.
Yeah, teach a class. JB님 방금 또 왔는데요. JB님은 악 보냈어요. What
That's
does this
laughing.
mean?
악 is 악 with the ki역 받침 is like 악. Yeah, it's laughing.
JB님, yeah, let's set the record straight. Am I your 형 or are you my 형, right? All right, so Hailey's with us here in the studio because she's going to help us out for today's IOB 5분 상식. Shall we, Hailey?
Let's do it.
Time for today's IOB 5분 상식, getting our listeners know of some of the most trending, useful, need-to-know words, expressions, and ideas. 5분만 들으면 유식해지는 시간입니다. 네, 오늘은요. 항저우 아시안게임은 예정보다 1년 늦게 개최되었다? 이게 사실일까요? Hailey, did you see that? Soccer at Hangzhou Asian Games. This is so much fun. The adrenaline rush. It's so incredible.
대한민국.
짝짝짝짝짝.
Soccer is so exciting, but I have to say it's not even comparable to taekwondo. Those high kicks, the precise movements. It is an awesome sport.
Oh, Hailey, yeah, I can't agree with you more. 축구, 배구, 야구, these are the real stars of the Hangzhou Asian Games. The fun, the thrill, the excitement, it's unmatched.
Really unmatched the real stars. I think taekwondo, wrestling,
fencing. They're the showstoppers.
Oh.
They're, the athletes, they're so handsome. I'm swooning, and they're in such good shape. I just love it.
You're
Just
not
love
looking at
them.
the important parts of the athletes,
am.
okay?
I
Come on,
am.
Hailey. You are talking about the Hangzhou 2023 Asian Games here, right?
2023, it's Hangzhou 2022 Asian Games.
Huh?
뭐는 거야?
Hailey, 나 바보 아니거든. What year is it right now? It's 2023, right?
대부 맺거든. You know I'm smarter than you, right? You know that, right? Say it, say it, say it. They're having the Hangzhou Asian Games in 2023, but it got delayed by 1 year. So it's officially the Hangzhou 2022 Asian Games.
아니거든. 내 말이 맞거든.
내가 맺거든.
내가 맞거든.
알거든.
내 말이 맞거든. 진짜 연기였는데
킹 받죠?
조금요.
열받죠. This is my prime middle child. I have not lost a 말싸움 in 3 decades.
진짜, I mean, if I was your friend back then, I think I would have thrown many things at you. Right? So I'm sure a lot of our listeners were very thrilled about how well our athletes are doing at the Hangzhou Asian Games right now. But it is true that the Hangzhou Asian Games currently taking place, they were postponed by 1 year from the originally scheduled date, right?
It is indeed, because this competition was scheduled to begin in September of, that's right, 2022, but it had to be delayed by a year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we're still kind of feeling the effects even now. So the games are postponed to 2023 to avoid scheduling conflicts with the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, in China, of course. So that was done to prevent resources and logistical strain and ensure the success of both events.
Okay. So then let's set the record straight. Is the official name of the Asian Games happening right now, is it the 2023 Hangzhou Asian Games or 2022?
So even though it is taking place right now, which is the year 2023, but it's still called the Hangzhou 2022 Asian Games because that's the year it was supposed to take place. And once again, if we make it to 2023, then you do have to add every 4 years. So it just gets really confusing down the road.
Yeah.
So the official name in these events will always reflect the year that it was initially scheduled to take place.
So you never know. Like, they probably already paid like designers and like they already have merchandise that have like the years that were, the right years
for
the
sure,
Asian
for
Games,
sure.
right?
So much money.
I have a question though. What's the difference between Asian Games and the competition there and let's say the Olympic Games?
I mean, they're similar, but the biggest difference is geography. So the Asian Games are the biggest sports competition in Asia. Olympics being a global sporting event, they both feature multiple sports, but Asian Games are a regional multi-sporting event held exclusively for the countries in Asia. Olympics occur every 4 years, and they go between summer and winter games. And Asian Games, although they occur every 4 years, they only feature summer sports. Big difference.
That explains it, right? Yeah, I've been seeing a lot, just in my feed of the Asian Games, just how well, Korean athletes are doing, and the excitement. A lot of people partaking in the matches, particularly. I think soccer was pretty on everybody's kind of minds when it comes to the games. Very excited of the results that our country's representative athletes will give. 네, 오늘 5분 상식 항저우 아시안게임은 중국의 코로나 유행과 2022년 베이징 동계올림픽 때문에 1년 연기된 2023년 열리게 되었습니다. 따라서 공식 명칭은 항저우 2022 아시안게임을 말하는 겁니다. 오늘의 5분 상식이었습니다. 김대리, 퇴근하나?
예, 부장님.
집이 괴정이지? 같은 방향인데 같이 가지? 요즘 회사 생활 어떤가?
예, 저 열심히 잘하고 있습니다.
결혼 생활도 재밌지?
예, 뭐 즐겁죠, 예. 저 그 라디오라도 좀.
그래, 라디오.
네가 저번 주에 온 신참인 것 같네.
22번 홀림병!
진짜 회사 생활 쉽지 않다. 어색한 이 순간 인사이드아웃 부산과 함께하세요. 오늘은
TMI Busan.
All right, Hailey, continuing to be with us in the studio for today's TMI Busan. Hi, Hailey.
Still here.
Yeah. How we doing today?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Yeah. And I mean, speaking of the rain, so
Yeah.
I had a nice lunch in Millakdong. TMI Hailey. Yeah, TMI Tuesday.
It wouldn't be TMI without TMI.
Nope. Gotta have my little daily dose of personal TMI.
Yes.
And it was a nice day, breezy,
Yeah.
not a little humid. So I was like, I'm gonna walk to Centum because it's a nice day.
From
and I
Milak.
looked on my phone, and it was like a 50-minute walk. I'm like, oh, I can walk
Yeah.
50 minutes. I have 2 legs, 2 feet, you know. Yeah. So I did. And then, as soon as I passed that awkward point of I can no longer take the bus from here,
Yeah.
it starts to rain.
어떡해.
I'm like, words I can't say on air. Man, just my luck. But I had an umbrella.
Oh, nice.
So, but I mean, it's kind of one of those almost horizontal rains
Yeah,
that like
sideways rain, right?
So I'm a little damp.
And if I can predict the route that you took from Milak into Centum, you probably went along the waters.
I did. I crossed the river.
Mm-hmm.
So if you saw this lady in a striped shirt with a yellow umbrella, it's probably me.
Lady in what, striped shirt? Striped
Yes,
shirt,
yeah, with a yellow umbrella.
All right, Hailey, TMI Busan. Now let's move on to what's
All
happening in
right.
our city,
Yes,
not
so-
just in your life.
important information.
네.
Seafood and seawater safety.
Yes.
Because it's been a month. It's already been a month since TEPCO, Tokyo Electric and Power Corporation, began releasing the contaminated wastewater from the Fukushima power plant. And then Busan City announced yesterday that based on its 1-month-long analysis and monitoring, they have deemed that seawater and the seafood around Busan, they're both safe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So if you've been listening, Annie's been filling us in almost on like a daily basis leading up to the release of the water and sometime after that. When it comes to just how our city analyzes, the water, right? They have so many of these just like sites where they take samples
Above
of water.
and beyond. So we're looking at 23 spots around the ocean.
Yeah.
So that's for water's radiation levels. And they're taken every 15 minutes in 6 of the spots across the city. And they're usually on the beaches. So we know it's safe to go in.
Yeah.
And all of these spots showed safety levels of radiation below drinking water levels set by the World Health Organization. So
Good
these are
news.
just for swimming and bathing, but they're at drinking water levels in terms of radiation. And then they're also testing for radiation with seafood across all aspects. Import, number 1, the city has banned import of seafood from Fukushima, as well as 7 other prefectures near Fukushima. And then the city has also increased the number of officials who are going around and checking for any, and this is important, violations in the country of origin labels for imported seafood. So we're making sure that, things are where they say that they came from.
Yeah.
And all of this information is actually available across the city. If you're driving on like Dongsa Gogwaro, Dongsa Overpass or express or highways, there are those like electronic boards above your head. So they
yeah.
have like the fine dust levels, so
Yeah.
weather, traffic information. And then if you wait long enough, they actually do have the radiation information as well.
Interesting.
As well as, of course, the official website
Yeah.
and subways and bus stations.
This is all to give Busan citizens a peace of mind, right? I
absolutely.
know there's a lot of people still very much, kind of on edge because, just the anxiety that the release of the water has brought. Busan City wants to ensure its citizens, that our waters right now they're safe. And also when it comes to just seafood, they have taken a lot of precautions to make sure those are safe as well. All right. What's next?
All right, next we're going to be talking about treatable and therefore preventive deaths in the city. So I want to ask you and the listeners, do you know, like, are you kind of one of those people, especially if you have elderly parents or children, do you have like a mental map of hospitals? Like just, I think a list. You have your primary doctor's offices,
Yeah.
your ENTs, orthopedics, you know, depending on what you're vulnerable to, and then your secondary and tertiary hospitals.
Oh, I don't think have it that planned out in my head. I mean, just I always think, okay, if there's an emergency situation, I'm grabbing whoever's sick and heading to this hospital. Like this
Right.
hospital if it's my daughter.
Yes.
This hospital if it's like
Yes.
my wife, or like this hospital if it's like my mom or dad or something.
Right. And then how long would you say it takes to get from your home to that hospital?
I mean, if I put them on my shoulders,
And run.
down one flight of stairs, put them in my car, and then we like under 8 minutes. I wanna
Right.
say.
So, you know, in most parts of Busan, us being the second biggest city in the country, we have pretty good access to medical care.
Yeah, I would say.
But in a little bit of a shocking data, the number of deaths that happened in Busan and Gyeongnam that could have been treated and therefore people could have been saved had they gotten the treatment in time. In the entire country, Gyeongnam was the third highest and Busan fourth highest.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's according to the Health and Welfare Ministry data. So the data is figured out by for every 100,000 people, 47.28 died in Gyeongnam and 46.9 passed away in Busan. And these individuals could have been treated. So both of these figures are actually way above the national average of 43.7. And if you compare that to Seoul, which has the lowest treatable death rate of 38.56, that's nearly a 10-point difference.
That's huge.
That is huge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is very, very, I mean, it depends on multitudes of factors, but
Sure.
probably mostly emergency room access.
Yes.
And from earlier, I believe last week, the National Medical Center's 2022 public health statistics, there's also a huge regional discrepancy for emergency room access as well. And that's why I asked you about how long would it take you to get to the ER.
Yeah.
So data shows that there's a significant gap in the regional medical usage rate within a standard time. So a standard time is 1 hour. Can the patient get from their home to an ER within 1 hour? Which, in my opinion, it's a little too long. So that measures, the figure measures how many people in that city or province could reach and get medical help at an ER within an hour. Not surprising, capital areas had the best medical access as well as metropolitan cities.
Sure.
So in Seoul, we're looking at 90% of their residents are able to get to an ER within an hour, probably far shorter. In Incheon, 86.7% of the residents, Gyeonggi 77%. So, I mean, 77 is still a little shocking,
Yeah.
but still fairly high. Daegu 91%, in our city of Busan 85%.
Okay.
And Gwangju 89%. So these are all metropolitan areas. However, if we're looking at areas like Jeonnam, Gyeongbuk, or Gangwon province, it falls to 50% range. So that means
What?
at least half the people in these areas don't have an hour's access to medical care.
That's so nuts.
That is insane.
And, Jeonnam and Gyeongbuk and Gangwon, probably a lot of these places and a lot of the people reside in, let's say, the smaller
The rural
villages.
areas, right.
Where, like, just going out of town, they probably won't see, a big building or something for,
Right.
within, probably, up to an hour. But
And then the question is, though, if 85% of people can get to an ER within
Yeah.
an hour, why do we have the fourth highest preventable death rate? I mean, that does fall down to then once you get to the ER, is there a cardiologist on call?
Yeah.
Is there a gynecologist on call? So it's kind of getting to the nitty gritty of do we have the specific departments for urgent care available?
Yeah.
So yeah, medical care, even in a country like Korea, which has an amazing medical system, it's still quite different depending on where you are.
Yeah. Hopefully, not only our city, but the country as a whole, looks at these figures and they, start pushing for the needed policies. I think, 50% for those residing in the Jeonnam, Gyeongbuk, and Gangwon area, 50% only having access to emergency facilities. That's under an hour away.
Right.
That means, what about the other 50%?
Exactly. And
Right?
even in Busan, that's still 15% of people who
Yeah.
don't have medical access in a city like Busan. Yeah.
This is also something to look at, as our city is pushing for the 15-minute
There we
city
go.
policy and project, that's also something to keep in mind. All right, Hailey, we have time for one last bit of news. What do you got?
All right. So during the Chuseok weekend, if you're looking for things to do, may I recommend the museum? The Busan Museum of Art. So this is actually, you might want to go there because these are going to be the last exhibition before the big renovation next year. So the museum's going to be shut down for a little bit. So the first is the past reveals itself to have a plot. So it's a retrospective on the museum itself. So they're going a little meta. It's also a history of Busan as well and how the museum has served as an institution but also a space for culture. By the way, the museum goes back to the 90s. In 92, the city decided that we needed an artistic space. In 1994, they broke ground on construction. That was the same year as Gwangan Bridge broke construction.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
they're kind of the same age. They opened their doors in 1998. So now the museum's facing this new change in the era of online content and also the need to be this hub for patrons of local artists.
I know there have been talks about updating its facilities, right, and the services that they provide, and it seems like they're going through with it.
Absolutely. Another exhibit is Post Media and Site, and it compares the museum to a theater and exhibition halls to a stage. So it really is kind of a space for works of different artists across different genres and medium to really challenge the function of art of museums and art exhibits. So these exhibitions open today, actually, and they will run through December 17th. And by the way, the museum is open through the entire Chuseok holiday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Oh, nice.
It is closed on October 4th, Wednesday, when we go back to work.
Yeah.
And they have a great children's section underground.
Yes.
And if the weather is going to be nice, and they have a great little courtyard in the middle of the museum. So yeah, definitely a great place to take your children to. Oh, they have beanbag chairs. They have lounges
Nice.
with beanbag chairs. So
Nice.
if you see a woman in a striped shirt taking a nap there, it's probably me.
With the yellow umbrella in
Yeah.
hand, right? All right, Hailey, thank you so much. That'll do it for today's TMI Busan. Happy Chuseok.
Happy Chuseok,
All
everyone.
right, we'll see you back here next Tuesday, okay?
Bye-bye.
All right, folks, that'll do it for hour number 1 of 인싸의학 Busan. See you back here at 7. To take us out of hour number 1, this is 이문세 with Love, Love, Love. Enjoy.
별일이 아닌 척을 해도 자꾸 떨려오는 마음이 오른쪽 배를 써보아도 이미 시작됐단 말을 해 꺼내본 적도 없었는데 자꾸 다 알 것만 같아서 잘못된 마음도 아닌데 왜 난 뒷걸음만 치는 건지 It's the love, love, love. It's the love again. 끝날 사랑이면 여기서 내 맘을 멈춰줘. 꿈에서 본 듯한 이 느낌이 다시 시작될 줄 몰랐어요. 피하려 노력하면 할수록 그는 더 커져만 가네요. 꿈보다 더 행복한 기분에 이미 취해버린 나의 마음 스치는 바람인 척할래도 이제 너무 많이 왔네요. Love, love, love. 다 그런 거란 친구 얘기 마치 예전에나 같아요. 다 안다는 척 얘기했던 내가 너무 어리석었죠. 아니면 그냥 끝내라는 그런 얘기하지 말아요. 누구도 충고할 수 없는
괜찮아 괜찮아 조금 불편해도 환경을 위해 너무 괜찮아 일회용컵 대신 머그컵 비닐봉지 대신 에코백 물티슈 대신 손수건 우리의 실천 하나하나 모여 세상을 바꿔요 깨끗한 세상 플라스틱 제로 일회용품 제로 함께해서 참 좋은 우리의 시민 불편한
이 캠페인은 부산환경공단이 함께합니다.
Hello, listeners. This is Catherine Bong.
And I'm Steve Hatherley.
The 2023 Chuseok holiday is upon us.
And we are celebrating by filling the airwaves with our special holiday programming.
So tune in to BEFM for everything you need for a fun and safe holiday.
大家好，我是富山华语之音主持人龙哥。丹桂飘香又中秋，花好月圆人长久。祝您中秋佳节快乐！
Thùy Trúc của Radio Xin Chào Việt Nam kính chào mọi người. Chúc mọi người có một kỳ nghỉ lễ thật là đầm ấm cùng với những người thân yêu của mình. Chúc mừng Trung Thu!
From all of us here at BEFM, enjoy this Chuseok by filling your stomach with all the food this season has to offer and fill your hearts with time spent with family and with friends. And above all, have a safe trip.
Happy Chuseok, everyone!
The time is now 7 o'clock.
꼬리에 꼬리를 무는 품격 있는 토크. 시끄러워 죄송합니다. 인싸의학 부산.
Welcome back, listeners. 7 o'clock. That means it's time for hour number 2 of Inside Busan. I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. How goes your Tuesday evening? I hope so far so good. Most of you probably on the so good side, right? We just got to get through tonight, which is pretty much over, right? 뭐 오늘은 거의 다 끝났잖아요. And then you just got to get through tomorrow. After you get off work, and that means it's time for the start of the very long 6-day long weekend / Chuseok holiday period. I know a lot of you are looking forward to that, right? Well, once again, just make it through tomorrow. 화이팅입니다. You can do it. We have lots of listeners chiming in, especially on today's text topic. I will get to your messages later on in our program. But real quick, Kos님, 오랜만입니다. Kos님, how are you doing? You ask, is it stylish to tie your jumper, as in the shirt I'm wearing, the jacket, around your waist, or is that just a kid thing? Kos님, I cannot pull that off. If I did that outside, right? I think people would stare at me, right? Who do you think you are? Only like the stylish hipsters and kids can pull it off. Both which I am not. Kasim, thank you so much. We're going to kick things off with On the Mic, as we normally do with the second hour. It's a segment where I get to share about the stories in the lives of you, the citizens of Busan. Let's see who we have for today.
안녕하세요, 제니입니다. 네, 여러분, 오늘은 김희승 경비원님 모시고 인터뷰 나눠보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
예, 안녕하세요.
네, 간단한 자기소개 부탁드립니다.
예, 경비 한 10년 가까이 되었고요. 저 이름은 김희성입니다.
아, 네, 반갑습니다. 10년이라고 하셨는데 어떤 계기로 이 경비원이라는 직업을 택하게 되셨나요?
뭐 특별한 계기는 없고 저 회사에다가 정년퇴직을 하고 한 5, 6년 놀다 보니까 그 친구가 있었는데 친구가 공장을 하는데 자기 공장에 와가지고 좀 경비를 하면서 좀 이래 도와달라 해서 하게 되었고요. 그래 그 공장에서 있다가 한 5년 하다가 공장이 경비원을 이제 그 자동화로 바꾸는 바람에 그만두게 돼가지고 마침 또 누가 소개를 해가 여기에 빌라에 와가 하게 되었습니다.
아, 그러시군요. 처음에는 회사에 다니시다가 정년퇴직을 하시고 친구의 권유로 그분이 일하시는 공장에서 한 5년간 근무를 하셨고 그 이후에 이제 그 시스템이 자동화로 바뀌게 되면서 지금 계신 이 빌라로 오게 되신 거군요. 아, 이렇게 오랜 기간 또 다양한 곳에서 근무를 하신 것 같은데 그렇다면 이 경비원은 주로 어떤 업무를 담당하고 있나요?
이 빌라에 주민들의 안전을 도모하는 게 첫째 목적이고, 때로는 피해를 준다든지 이런 사람을 못 오게 하고, 주변 청소나 재활용 용품을 분류한다든지, 그런 게 하는 게 제일 큰 목적이죠. 첫째는 하여튼 주민들의 안전을 도모하는 게 제일 첫째 목적입니다. 또 차량 주차장 관리도 하고 있고요. 예, 그렇습니다.
주민들의 안전 정말 중요하고 또 사실 차량 문제도 분명 발생을 하는데 그런 차량 부분에 있어서도 이렇게 관리를 해주고 계시고 정말 또 중요한 부분이죠. 재활용품 분류하시는 것도 함께 해주고 계시는데요. 정말 이렇게 중요한 일을 담당하시면서 오랜 기간 경비 일을 하셨는데 그렇다면 그 일들을 하시면서 가장 기억에 남는 일이나 혹은 주민분이 계실까요?
특별히 기억이 나는 건 없고 이곳에 와서는 주민들이 다 잘 대해주고 하니까 어떤 특별한 기억이 남는 일은 없지만 때에 따라서 가끔 갑질을 하면 하고 좀 이래 별일 아닌 것 같고 이래 경비원을 좀 나무라든지 하는 이런 때도 있고 때로는 조그만 일을 했는데도 아이고 수고 많다고 또 이래 격려해 줄 분도 있고 그런 분이 있는데 하여튼 그런 일이 있으면 좀 격려해 주면 기분이 좋고 좀 나불하면 또 마음이 상하고 그렇게 되죠.
네, 맞습니다. 우리 경비원님도 같은 감정을 가지신 분이기 때문에 이렇게 정말 사소한 일을 가지고 또 뭐라고 하시거나 혹은 정말 갑질이라고도 하죠. 그런 갑질을 하게 되시면 정말 마음이 상하시기도 하는데 반대로 격려도 해주시고 이렇게 하면 정말 누구든 기분이 좋아질 것 같은데요. 그렇다면 정말 이 여러 업무를 맡고 계신 와중에 가장 힘들게 느껴지시는 일이 있다면 무엇일까요?
특별히 힘든 건 없습니다. 없는데, 그 중에 이제 사소한 걸 들자면, 재활용 분리를 제대로 안 해가지고 그걸 하나하나 해야 된다든지, 또 태풍이나 바람이 많이 불어가지고, 낙엽이나 나무가 많이 불러지고 이래가지고 그런 거 치울 때는 좀 힘드는데, 여기서는 참 하지 못할 정도 힘드는 건 없습니다.
네, 맞습니다. 여름이나 굉장히 날씨가 덥고 습하면 사실 이 분리수거 할 때 특유의 냄새, 불쾌한 그런 느낌이 있는데 여러분들께서도 이렇게 분류를 하실 때 조금만 도와주시면 우리 경비원님께서도 훨씬 더 수월하게 하실 수 있을 것 같네요. 그렇다면요, 이제 저희의 마지막 질문입니다. 경비원으로서 어떤 순간에 가장 좀 자부심을 느끼고 뿌듯함을 느끼시나요?
특별한 거는 없지만은 어떤 주민들이 집안에 무슨 일을 전기나 이래 배관 같은 걸 조금 도와주고 했을 때 그분들이 고맙다고 이야기할 때 하고 특히 이분 같은 경우에는 이 아파트 빌라 전체에 물이 안 나가서 한 이틀 동안 내일 묵은데 그걸 내가 찾아가지고 해결해 주었었고 그냥 주민들마다 보는 사람마다 고맙다고 수고했다고 할 때가 제일 자부심이 느끼게 됩니다.
맞습니다. 우리 주민들이 나서서 뭔가 하기 힘든 것들을 이렇게 해결해 주시고 하는 부분에 있어서 가장 큰 자부심을 또 느끼시는군요. 네, 이렇게 오늘 인터뷰 진행해 보았는데요. 오늘 함께 해주셔서 감사합니다.
예, 고맙습니다.
네, 감사합니다 to our reporter Jenny and to Mr. Kim Hee-sung, who is currently working as a security guard in a villa complex. A little bit about his story. He mentioned after retiring, right, from the work that he did previously, he started his, first security job, and he worked for just a friend's factory. And then, since automation came into play, with, modernization of all the things that the factory and just businesses use in general, they saw less use for a security guard there. And then that's how he transferred over to being a security guard for a housing complex, a villa, right? So a little bit about his job. He mentioned, of course, as a security guard, he ensures the safety of the residents. He maintains the surroundings and the grounds, right? The property. He also helps out with like sorting through the recyclables and managing cars there, making sure that, cars that need to be here are here and cars that, don't need to be here, that they're not. And, with any job, comes difficulties, comes hardships, right? So he says occasionally he does find it hard when he has to get involved with trivial matters, or encounter kind of difficult people within the complex, within, the place where he's working. However, though, he also remembers the people who offer encouraging words to him, kind words, even for the smallest things. This is what kind of keeps him going. And he mentioned he takes most pride and satisfaction when it comes to resolving issues within the complex that maybe the residents couldn't kind of get to or solve and address themselves. And then after that, because he fulfilled obviously what he needed to do, but others recognize the fact that, he puts in all the work and all the effort to make sure that the residents there feel safe and feel comfortable, and they offer him these words of gratitude and thanks, right? So yeah, we got to give it up to not only Kim Hee-seung-nim, but also to all the security guards and 경비원들, not only of apartment complexes, just of all buildings. They put in a lot of work to make sure, that we can live, that we can work, and we could go to school with a peace of mind, knowing that, everything is in order. And those efforts are done by, like our today's guest, Mr. Kim Hee-seung. Thank you so much. Also, thank you to our reporter, Jenny. That was today's On the Mic. All right. More in store in hour number 2 of our show, but we are going to take a quick song break. This is Yeon with 이젠 잊기로 해요.
무릎 꿇고 기도했던 거 잊어요. 이젠 잊기로 해요. 이젠 잊어야 해요. 그대 생일 그대에게 선물했던 모든 의미를 잊어요. 무릎 꿇고 기도했던 걸 잊어요. 그대 생일 그대에게 선물했던 모든 의미를 잊어요. 심취한 밤 그대에게 고백했던 모든 일들을 잊어요.
And that was Yeon with 이젠 잊기로 해요. The time is now 7:14 here in the studio. Welcome, folks. Hour number 2, número 2 of 인싸의학 Busan. I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. How goes your Tuesday evening? I looked outside our window, and it does seem like the rain has stopped, at least here in the Centum area. I saw people walking without umbrellas. So that either tells me, and we're on the, I don't want to give details away. We're on one of the upper floors of our building. And from here, I can't really tell if it's raining on the ground, and it's too dark to see if any raindrop is falling. But people outside are walking. Well, the two people that I saw walking on the streets, they didn't have umbrellas. So they either like to get very wet or it's not raining. I like to think the latter. But let's see what's going on in terms of the general weather throughout Busan. Right now, we are seeing 23 degrees Celsius. Our city is averaging. When it comes to the weather tomorrow, temperature-wise, 22 in the morning and 28. That's an afternoon high. Busan will have clear skies and a bit chillier air in the morning and evening, starting from tomorrow into the long 추석 holiday. 부산은 내일부터 추석까지 맑은 가을 날씨를 보이겠습니다. 아침 저녁으로 쌀쌀하겠습니다. I think tomorrow's weather is more fitting for what I'm wearing today. I mean, I'm wearing shorts, but I have this pretty thick denim jacket on, which I know once I get home, my wife's going to be like, you wore that shirt today, right? It's so hot. 맞아, 덥긴 더웠어요, 오늘은. And 찝찝했고, right? Because of the rain. When it comes to our traffic, we have congestion on Jungang Express from Daejeon Interchange going towards Baekyang Tunnel. There's also congestion on Mandokdaero from Tuk. Moving traffic on Buam Overpass from Jinyang Junction going towards Yeonji three-way intersection. And we have a report of a car breaking down. A car has broken down on Gayadaero. This is from Jure Junction going towards Dongseo University. So the car has broken down in the third lane right before Dongseo University. That's why there might be some backup over there. Okay? Everybody drive safe. 부탁드리겠습니다. 안전운전, 안전운전. So today, we, since the first hour, we started talking about the nepbyung, the nep syndrome that a lot of people here in Korea, especially workers, and not just workers, just people in general have the nepbyung. And I asked you, our listeners, when do you find yourself saying nep, right? And we say it pretty frequently. So I want to get to a couple messages. We have, let's see, from JB님. It looks like JB님 copy and pasted a conversation that he had with his wife. JB님 in the section, well, I guess I can't tell if this is probably the line from his wife, right? 여보, 오늘 좀 일찍 들어왔나? 몸이 안 좋다. And JB says, 넵. Right? JB는 저랑 똑같네요, right? As we said, to our wives, 네, we have to give the affirmative each and every time. 근데 이 넵이 무슨 넵일까요? JB님. 제가 볼 때 JB님은 여보 나 몸 좀 안 좋은데 일찍 들어왔나? 네, 이렇게 했는데 JB님 왠지 계획이 있었는데 일단 와이프가 중요하지 가서 돌보줘야 되니까 넵 이런 느낌을 준 것 같아요. 뭐 있었는데 근데 아프니까 할 수 없이 가야 되네, right? I feel that's the kind of nep that you gave. 토끼님 gave her version of when she used nep. And this is between her and it seems like her mother-in-law. 추석 하루 전에 올 거지? And 토끼님 says, 냉. And then followed by 장 볼 것도 더 있는데 운전 좀 해줘. And then 토끼님 goes, 넵. Right? So the cute 냉 in the beginning, 네, 가야죠. 이렇게 했는데 장 볼 것도 더 있는데 운전 좀 해줘. 넵. 당연히 affirmative. Yes sir. Sir, yes sir. 이런 넵이었거든요. We also have 가보자고님 saying 넵무새. 넵무새, 그죠? 넵병. I'm a 넵무새, right? Just pretty much answer 넵 anywhere and everywhere. You also say 나무가 뿔라지고, and that's how the 경비원님 spoke, right? In the on the mic interview, 가보자고님 saying 경비원님 사투리 너무 정겨워요. 맞아요, right? 너무 부산스럽잖아요, right? Thank you for all your messages. Yeah. The curious case of the nepbyung, the nep syndrome that a lot of people seem to be in. But I kind of like it. Just with that one answer, nep, right? It says a lot without saying a lot. And I like it when words and languages do that. There's also 그것도 있잖아요. Right? That could mean so many that there's so many meanings behind just one character, I feel like. And that's the charm, that's the uniqueness, I feel like, of the Korean language, right? So, I don't know, keep it up. Keep it up with the nepbyung. Don't make it go away. 저는 너무 재밌으니까. Thank you so much for all your contributions to our conversations today. Big thank you to everybody that participated in today's text topic. All right, folks, 7:20 here in the studio. It's hour number 2 of our Tuesday edition. That means we have our certified doctor with us here in the studio, also ready to fill you in on what's wrong with our bodies. Let's get to today's 인싸의학. 네, 인싸의학 시간입니다. We have the great 류상효 원장님 with us here in the studio. Dr. Ryu, 안녕하세요.
I'm a doctor. 저 닥터예요.
네.
신경과 의사고요.
맞아요.
신경과도 하지만 다른 것도 합니다.
네.
근데 제가 너무 썰렁할 것 같은데 썰렁은 아직은 안 하고 싶은데
네.
I feel compelled to do this one again.
It's like, it's not even like the compulsion like that you feel. It's not about feeling compelled. You started this tradition that you had.
That's right. I started this tradition.
And traditions are never meant to be broken. So Dr. Ryu, whether you like it or not, you have to give an 아재 개그.
Yes. If I skip this kind of 아재 개그, I feel like don't wipe my bottom after my pooping. So I'm just gonna.
That's one of the most uncomfortable feelings that you could describe.
The reason why I brought this up is just I'm gonna cut down on the amount of the dinner because that helps you maintain your body weight.
이거 그렇게까지 생각하고 그런 멘트를 했으니까.
예, 그런 아주 심도 깊은 그런 사람입니다.
네, 감사합니다. Thank you so much, Dr. Ryu. So what's the joke that you have today?
오늘 조크는 정말 썰렁한데 말하면은 제가 아마 사형 아니고 사형하니까 또 생각나는 또 아재 개그가 생각나는데.
네. 하나만요.
예.
Just one for today.
Who is the ranking number 4 in your family? All the time he is ranking number 4.
Fourth rank?
Yes,
out of how many people?
It doesn't matter.
4등? 꼭 항상 4등 되는 사람? Is this Korean or English?
It's Korean.
Oh, Korean?
Because there's gonna be a 추석 coming up, so that's why.
Me?
No, it's 4.
Wait, the answer is 4?
4. It starts with 4.
with 4 뭐였지?
Whenever I go into in-laws' house, they call me 4.
아닌데? 4. Whenever I go to my in-laws, they call me 신서방. 네.
Yeah.
서방 or 사방?
신서방. 신서방 right.
네.
저 이거 사위라 그러죠, 사위.
사위. 맞네요. I forgot the title.
Yeah, 사위야. 우리나라는 좀 어려워요. 그런 관계가.
Wait. Then I'm curious.
Yes.
This has had nothing to do with, your field of expertise. So 사위 and 서방 means the same thing?
서방. Yeah, that's right. 서방 also encompasses a little bit more broader meaning. 서방은 이제 you're asking the wrong person. Put me on the spot, please.
No, it's okay.
I'm sweating.
But 사위 is the more exact position. The
한
title
명을
for
얘기하는
me.
것이고요. 도련님은 이제 조금 도련님은 좀 더 다른 사람들한테도 도련님 그러는 것 같아요.
I've heard it, yeah. Was used before like that. 사위죠.
사위죠.
You're always the 4th ranked. Well, especially not in your family when you go to your in-laws.
맞아. 그거 맞는 말이네요. There's
Right,
only
when
one
you go
condition.
네, 맞아요.
Yeah, 맞아요. 우리 집에서는 안 그러죠.
우리 가보자님이 우리 문자 들어왔는데요.
네.
I think I saw Dr. Ryu in a car commercial. Were you in a car commercial recently?
맞아. 그거 어떻게 됐냐면요.
Oh, well, we can't say the brand of the car on air, but like car commercial for TV?
아니요, car commercial for kind of magazine.
For a magazine.
예, magazine. 차 산지 이제 차 타신 지 10년, 15년 됐네요. 근데 그 차 브랜드만 제가 지금 2번 10년 타고 또 하나 또 구매했거든요, 최근에. 10년 타고 이제 10년 30만 탔었거든요.
Yeah.
근데 이제 하니까 이렇게 섭외가 들어와가지고.
오,
어떻게 알았어요, 이거?
가부자고님. Eyes are everywhere, Dr. Liu. Be careful.
그래요. 정말 저 밖에 나가서 마스크를 그래서 안 벗어요. 제가 일부러 안 벗는 이유가 있어요. There is a reason why I just keep wearing this mask.
I see. Dr. Liu, so today for 인싸의학, what do you have for our listeners?
오늘은요, 수면 무호흡 증후군에 대해서 할까 합니다.
수면 무호흡, so not breathing while you're sleeping?
Oh, that's right. Never heard of it before?
What do you call that?
이거 sleep apnea라 그래요. sleep apnea.
Oh, you know what? I always thought sleep apnea as snoring.
스노링 그거 다른 거예요.
아, 달라요?
네, 스노링은 코를 거는 것이고
Yes.
sleep apnea는
Why does that sound so familiar for some reason?
제가 이거 겪고 있는 것 같아요. 이렇게 하다가
Now that's a sound that I've heard a couple times from my grandma and a couple times from my dad. Right?
Is your daddy chubby?
No, he's skinnier than me.
Okay, I think it's to do with his aging process.
Oh, yeah. It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. But sleep apnea, so that's like when your breathing stops
맞아요.
while sleeping. Yeah, okay.
이거 신경과에서 아주 스페셜티로 보는 질환 중에 하나거든요.
Really?
예. 그래서 얼마나 많은 사람들이 이게 겪고 있냐면 the prevalence 이게 유병률이라 그러죠. 병이 있을 확률 the prevalence of sleep apnea disorder has been increasing. The reason is to do with obesity. 살이 많이 찔수록 이게 생길 수가 있어요.
I see. And that's something that I'm sure a lot of maybe some of our listeners who might be guilty of like things like snoring, right? I've heard many a time snoring comes from gaining weight. Is that true?
맞습니다. 근데 이거 왜 그런지 생각 한번 해봤으면 좋겠어요. 왜 살이 찌면은 스노링 하게 될까요?
Is it because of the fat? I guess kind of like, you know, the amount of fat in your body kind of squeezing like the airflow.
Dr. Shin, you already gave away the answer. It's brilliant. 이 Dr. Shin 정말 놀라운 게 예전에 제가 아재기계에서 룰러에 대해서 얘기한 게 있었거든요. 필통에서 가장 킹이 누구냐?
The ruler.
Yeah, the ruler. Yeah, 룰러가 이게 자잖아요, 자 여러분. 근데 룰러 통치자도
맞네요.
맞네요.
네,
통치자.
맞아요.
예, ruler. 예. 그렇죠. 그것도 맞췄어요. 아무튼 anyway, he is very, very brilliant, I guess.
Oh, thank you.
Anyhow, sleep apnea는 나이가 들수록 그다음에 살이 찔수록 your airway, your trachea gets kind of squeezed by a lot of accumulated fatty tissue around that area. 그래서 살이 찔수록. 근데 우리나라 obesity rate가 점점 증가하게 되겠죠. 그래서 나이가 또 살이 찌니까 또 이러한 수면 무호흡증 환자들이 늘어나게 되겠고 또 하나 aging. 왜냐면은 when we age, what's sagging? We cannot define our gravity. What's sagging? Our skin. We lose our kind of a thing of flexibility, and also we have our 이런 걸 뭐 탱글탱글한 걸 뭐라 그러죠? 이렇게 tension. We lose our skin tension. 그래서 the muscle and also the skin layer or the mucosal layer or some kind of a soft tissue gets flattened. So that's why they're causing a lot of sleep apnea. 그래서 나이가 들수록 그래서 많이 일어나는데 얼마나 많이 일어나느냐? 전체의 한 1% 정도니까 100명 중에 1명. 근데 문제는 이게요. 스노링은 크게 문제는 안 돼요. Snoring doesn't it bothers other people just sleeping next to you. But when you have sleep apnea, you might end up having very serious problems. 첫째는 잠을 잘 때 하다가 하면서 잠을 깨게 돼요. Sleep is divided into 4 stages. 1단계 수면, 2단계 수면, 3단계 수면, 그다음에 rapid eye movement, REM cycle. 예, REM cycle이다 그러죠. REM cycle. REM cycle에 정말 저기 얘기하고 싶은 게 많지만 it's kind of a little bit considered to be PG-13, 14 or 18 or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Okay,
that's
we'll
why
stay away from that
I don't want
for
to go
now.
over that. Anyhow, if you are interested, you can go and look it up. 그렇지만 이런데 여하간 이게 깊은 잠을 못 자게 되면은 여러분 잠 못 자게 되면은 어떻게 되는 줄 아세요?
I'm sure.
죽을 수 있어요.
Yeah.
저 옛날에 이거 논문 보고 놀랬는데 이 실험을 진짜 했어요.
So it could get to the point where so your breathing stops, and that doesn't. If you can't wake up, and obviously you can't breathe, then you could end up losing your life.
예.
while sleeping.
그래서 그것 때문에 그런 사람들이 하루택이 밤에 자다가 심장마비가 올 수 있어요.
네.
그다음에 또 숨이 또 안 쉬어지면 여러분 산소 포화도가 점점 떨어져요. Saturation, your body saturation. Your body cannot take any oxygen from the air, so that's why the oxygen level goes down. So what's causing it? What's the end of this kind of results? What's the effect of this decreasing the oxygen saturation rate is? Increased heart rate. It pushes our hearts to pump up more harder and harder, and that's why you might have a heart attack. And also, your sleep might be disturbed. You have less chance of regaining your body metabolism and also your energy. That's why you might experience a lot of problems, including 잠 못 자면 그 다음날 어떻게 돼요 머리가?
In terms of your head.
Yes, in terms of our brain function.
Oh, I mean, if you can't get sleep, you're stressed out, you're tired. And just your brain function overall is not at its best.
맞아. 그래서 교통사고하다가 졸음운전 사고로 죽을 수가 있겠고.
맞아요.
예, 그 다음에 또 아침에 일어났을 때 컨퓨전도 보이지, 약간의 선망도 보일 수 있겠고요. 또 남자한테 ED 프로블럼이 생길 수 있어요. ED stands for erectile dysfunction. 제가 항상 강조를 했었어요. 예전에 이 시간에서 if what something's wrong with your lower body, your kind of erectile dysfunction, it's to do with our brain, it's to do with our heart, because it's a vascular system. So 그래서 남자의 발기부전의 영향이랑 뇌졸중의 원인이랑 심장마비 원인이랑 거의 같다라는 거 이거 알았으면 좋겠습니다.
Yeah. We had a message came in from Hisung님 on our KakaoTalk saying, my hubby says that I snore a lot more than before because I put on a lot of weight. So like you said, putting on more weight, having more percentage of fat, right, in your body, this could lead to the restriction of airflows, air passageways in your body. That's why snoring is a result of it, right?
그 snoring and then the body weight, it reminds me of the time when I was working at a university hospital as an intern. I went into an operating theater and I was scrubbing in just right by the primary surgeon, the responsible chief surgeon, and then what I did was scrubbing. Scrubbing means 수술실에서 이제 살을 땡겨서 시야를 확보하는 건데 처비한 사람들 땡기기가 정말 힘들어요. 그걸 땡기고 한 4-5시간, 10시간 동안 이렇게 서 있으면 막 팔에 쥐가 나고 다리가 넘이 되기도 하고요. 또 하나는 이제 응급실에서 일할 때 심장마비로 오는 사람들이 있으면은 the priority is secure their airway system. 그래서 항상 기도를 확보해야 되거든요. 그럼 기도를 기관 삽관이라고 목에다가 튜브를 꽂을 때 그때 이제 약간 처비한 사람들은 목이 두껍고 짧으니까 그걸 못 해가지고 막 낑낑대고 막 어떻게 해야 되지 막 그 긴박했던 그런 상황들이 막 생각이 나요. 생각만으로도 제가 가슴이 막 두근두근 거리는데 약간 이게 살이 찌게 되면서 여러 가지 나타나는 증상 중에 하나가 스노링 하게 되는데요. 스노링 하면서 이게 혈압도 올라가게 되겠고 또 당뇨도 일으킬 수 있겠고 그다음에 이것 때문에 심장마비나 이런 것들도 일으킬 수 있겠고 여러 가지 문제를 일으킬 수 있겠죠.
Okay. I know sleep apnea, right? 수면 무호흡증 can lead to all these other things, right? And this is a trend that we've been seeing, in your segment, how one sickness, one condition can result in so many other conditions and so many other sicknesses. So this is not to take lightly, sleep apnea. If you have it, you do need to keep in mind. Then, Dr. Liu, when, because you mentioned, sleep apnea brought on, especially a big one like obesity, putting on more weight, then I guess is an answer just losing the weight, or are there any other solutions to that?
이거 정말 중요한 질문을 또 해주셨어요.
네.
You keep amazing me. Anyhow, sleep apnea. 제가 이거를 준비한 이유는 신경과에서 하는 거라서 또 중요하지만 또 하나는 여러분들 추석 때에 여러분들 가족들이 모이게 되겠죠?
네.
Let me ask you a little bit personal question. Do you sleep with your family?
Yeah, my wife, and it's my daughter in our family bed.
Family bed, okay. Because I don't do because I snore sometimes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
also my sleeping habit is really very bad because I kicking and sometimes I have shouting and.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I don't shout, and 저 몸부림 잘 안 하는데. The 몸부림 담당 is my daughter. The snoring 담당 is me. And my wife is caught in the middle of both of us. Yeah, so
she might
화이팅.
Yeah, she might have to brace herself.
맞아요.
그렇죠. 그래서 이걸 진단을 여러분들 추석 때 모이게 되면은 누가 코를 곤다 그러면은 이 상대방을 진단해 줄 수 있는 그런 찬스가 될 수 있어요.
오케이.
그래서 코를 골 때
네.
이게 딱 숨이 막히게 되면 여러분 이렇게 되는 거를 보게 됐다. 그럼 그때는 정말 병원에 가가지고 검사를 일단 하거든요. 하는 검사가 수면다원 검사라 그래요.
네.
들어보셨어요?
No.
What about polysomnogram? PSG라고 하거든요.
네.
뭐 왜냐면 뇌파도 꽂고 심장도 꽂고 비디오도 촬영하고 몸에다가 온갖 장치를 하고 그 다음에 잠을 자는 거예요.
오케이.
예, 그러면은 이제 잠을 잘 때 산소 포화도가 어떻게 되는지 심장 맥박이 어떻게 되는지 well, this
why clipping onto your head? Though?
Because 우리가 잠을 잘 때 이 사람이 눈을 감았는지 we can tell whether this patient is sleeping or not by looking at their EEG. EEG means electric encephalogram. 즉 뇌파 펑션을 봐가지고 이 사람이 진짜 잠을 자는지 아니면 이 사람이 나쁜 생각을 하는지는 모르고.
I feel like that. Min-Soo Shin, you're not sleeping. We could see on our monitors that you're not sleeping. Please go to sleep. We do need to test
that's
you.
right. There you go. That's digital medicine, which is going to be a really interesting topic. So I'm going to go over it maybe someday.
Yeah.
With these days, wearable watches are available and wearable rings and a lot of technologies have developed for our health. 이런 걸 해가지고 이제 진단을 할 수 있는데요. 치료는 어떤 게 치료가 될까요? 첫 번째.
Other than losing weight?
살 빼야 되는데 어려워. It's easier said than done.
맞아요.
정말 어려워요.
네.
그럼 이제 나중에 이제 수술하라는 경우가 있는데요.
네네네. If it gets that bad?
예. 그럼 수술하면 이제 목젖이랑 목을 넓히는 수술을 하거든요. You have to keep this in mind.
Okay. I mean, is that a simple like in and out procedure or is it like?
It's performed on a general anesthesia.
Okay.
이게 좀 이게 UPPP라고 이제 목젖이랑 이 목을 이제 잘라내서 이제 그 기도를 확보하는 즉 땅굴을 크게 넓혀주는 수술인데 the recurrence rate of sleep apnea is over almost 50-60%.
So even with that procedure,
그렇죠.
that you could still, experience sleep apnea.
그렇죠. 그래서 만일에 수술이 recommendation 된다 그러면은 you need to verify whether this procedure is very suitable for you or not. 이걸 항상 생각을 해야지 될 것 같고. 그다음 other remedies for sleep apnea is other than besides losing weight is dental device.
Okay. What kind of dental device?
Dental device. 잠잘 때 이렇게 when you are sleeping on your back, your tongue is about to drop backwards, so it might block the airway.
Okay.
예, 그래서 dental device가 이제 ton이 뒤로 빠지는 걸 좀 막아줄 수가 있겠고.
네.
예, 그런 게 있겠고 또 하나는 목베개 같은 거라든지 우리가 고개를 뒤로 제끼면은 기도가 펴지거든요.
네.
요즘에 또 디바이스 디지털 필로우가 나왔어요.
저 봤어요. 그거 광고로 봤는데요. It's with a sensor above your head.
맞아요. That's right.
Right? And anytime you move your head like while you're sleeping, the sensor reads your head position and like these levers inside the pillow like are raised up to put your head back into position. 저 그거 보고 깜짝 놀랐어요.
정말 인체를
This is where we have this is the point in our society and times that we are in right now. I was amazed. days.
그래서 정말 놀라운 시대가 돼가고 있어요.
네.
그다음 옆으로 자면 좀 또 코를 좀 돌걸 수가 있죠.
저는 그래요. So
저도
like
그래요.
in the middle of the night, if my snoring is too loud, of course, you know, my wife sometimes gives me the shrug, or I mean, like gives me a shove, and I go, oh, okay, and then I go to my side. 근데 next time I wake up, I'm on my back again. Snoring. Second time, it's a vicious cycle.
예, vicious cycle인데 약간 제가 항상 강조하는 말, I'm gonna wrap it up by saying this one. 잘 먹고, 잘 싸고,
네.
또 잘 자야 됩니다. 잘 자야지 이거는 또 브레인에서 뇌 세포를 보호시켜주고
네.
뇌에서 치매 세포가 쌓이는 것을 막아줍니다. 잠자는 거 sleep 하고 디멘시아 해가지고 브레인 셀 치면은 구글 하면은
네.
정말 아주 기가 막히게 보여줘요. 청소를 해주거든요.
네.
잠이 정말 중요합니다. 잠 잘 자야 행복해요.
맞아요. And we underestimate, things like snoring, which could be a symptom of sleep apnea. And, we tend to think a little light of this type of situation, this type of condition. But like you said, sleep is such an important part of the upkeep of our health.
맞습니다.
Making sure that everything is working properly, that wouldn't be possible without sufficient sleep.
That's right. And also, I want to reiterate this one. The best way to sleep is maintaining a very good sleep hygiene, which is going to the bed at about the same time and get out of the bed at about the same time. 항상 일정한 시간에 make it a routine. 그다음에 daytime exercise is really important. 정말 좋은 음식 먹고. 그래서 이렇게 얘기해도 저도 잘 안 되거든요.
네, 맞아요.
하지만
어렵죠.
예, 같이 서로 북돋아 주면서 이번에 명절 때 가족들 모이면은 옆에서 코 건다 그러면은 숨이 멈추는지 멈추면 가가지고
맞아요.
slap on their face.
Like so that they could wake up just in case that
That's right.
stoppage of breathing
It's the
might
best way
lead to something else.
It's the best way to ventilate your kind of a grudge against towards them, just kicking
네.
and then punching them.
네, 근데 너무 세게 때리지 마세요.
그래요.
네.
예, 잘 잡시다.
깜짝 놀랍니다. Dr. Yu, thank you so much. Another very fun and informative episode of 인싸의학, talking about sleep apnea, 수면 무호흡증. Dr. Yu, have a great Chuseok. Okay. Eat lots of good food, lots of good times, laughter with family, and we'll see you back here next week.
Thank you, Dr. Shin. I love you.
I love you too. All right, Dr. Liu, have a good one, okay?
Okay.
Bye. This is The Police, Every Breath You Take.
Every breath you take, and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Every single day, and every word you watching you. Every move you make, every step you take, I'll be watching you. I'll be watching you. Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, I'll be watching you. Every single day, every word you say, every dream you make, I'll be watching you. Every move you make, every vow you break, every smile you fake, I'll be watching you. Every single day, every word you say, every dream you make, I'll be watching you. Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, I'll be watching you. Every single day, every word you say, every dream you make, I'll be watching you. Every move you make, every vow you break, every smile you fake, I'll be watching you. Every single day, every word you say, every dream you make, I'll be watching you.
안녕하세요. 고품격 영어 방송 인싸의학 부산의 품격 있는 writer Steve입니다. Winners of Inside Out Busan listeners participation segment will get full course meal voucher from Golden Lizzie, a gourmet restaurant in Geojedong and Yeonsandong, where you can taste cuisine from Michelin Guide featured Chef Kim. 미슐랭 셰프의 파인 레스토랑 골든 리지에서 10만 원 외식 상품권. A place to entertain your brain and eyes. Museum of Illusions. 당신의 눈과 뇌를 즐겁게 하는 곳. Museum of Illusion 부산 착시미술관 입장권. 언제나 맛있는 커피를 신선하게 만드는 양산에 위치한 인투 로스터리. Coffee voucher and a pack of fresh coffee whole beans sponsored by Into Roastery in Yangsan. A delicious brunch for two from Gorilla Brewing Busan, Gwangan branch, the leader of Korean handmade beer culture. 수제 맥주 전문점 고릴라 브루잉 부산에서 제공하는 식사권. We prepare admission tickets for the Busan X the Sky Top Floor Observatory, which is located at LCT in Haeundae, the highest place in Busan. 부산 대표 랜드마크 해운대 LCT에 위치한 하늘 위의 바다. 부산 X the Sky 전망대 입장권을 선물로 드립니다. IOB와 함께하는 품격 있는 선물. It's all yours, listeners.
All right, listeners, you heard the music. That means it's slowly time to wrap up today's program, but we cannot finish things off without doing quote unquote. Yes, a segment. So in this segment, I get to bring you just quotes, sayings by people. And it just could be like, expressions that you would hear every now and then that are relevant in my life, and hopefully they find some relevance in yours, right? So I guess this past week, I've been trying to encourage, maybe inspire some of our listeners. I'm not the particular person to find inspiration from, but with the quotes that I bring, they inspire me a little bit, and hopefully they inspire you. Today, I bring a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it's another inspirational quote. So his quote reads, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Yeah. So this quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson encourages us to be independent thinkers and trailblazers in our lives, like pioneers, those that do things for the first, right? The first to do something. So a couple, important lessons that maybe we could take from Waldo Emerson's quote. I guess embracing individuality. I know this is something that has been pretty important factor in a lot of people's just identity. His quote encourages us to embrace our unique perspectives, not to just simply follow the crowd, not just go where everybody else is going. By doing this, we can discover what our true passions are and what our potential is and can be, right? There's also just the idea of embracing risk and innovation. Going where there's no path, as the quote says, this implies that you take risk and you're being innovative at the same time. Because if you go off-road, right? If you go off a path that's not the path that maybe is meant to be walked on, you're kind of thinking on the spot, you're being very innovative with the with the route that you're going. So this suggests that, real progress often actually comes from you being a bit more daring, being a bit more adventurous, right? Going into uncharted territory, whether it be your career, whether it be your personal life, or just, anything that you're partaking in. And then there's the lesson of resilience and determination. So creating a new path, it could be challenging. It's going to be filled with a lot of bumps, a lot of obstacles. But from this quote, I'm reminded to persevere, right? In anything new that I want to do in my life. Even if I do feel, if I face difficulties in my life, because it's that determination, right? It's that resilience that I'm willing to take on for, just whatever it is that I want to achieve. This can make it that much more meaningful at the end, whether it be a failure or success, right? So in our lives, with this quote, it can be relevant in many ways. It encourages us to break free from the norm, explore your passions. These days I am asking myself, what am I passionate about? Other than my work here on Inside Busan, other than with my family, I have hobbies, but are they my passion? So these days I'm really kind of exploring in terms of what I feel like I could dive deeply into. Because I don't know, I get the sense that maybe am I 가을타ing, right? As we've, many of you might be thinking, I could blame it on just the autumn weather, but I kind of want to make my mark on the world for some reason these days. So for me, whether it's pursuing, I don't want to say, another career path. I see myself, in, doing radio for quite some time, of course, if they'll have me. But, maybe it's me kind of going for a cause I believe in, or just maybe simply living life, on my terms, right? Not conforming to what everybody else says I should live my life as. So this quote reminds me, and hopefully you, that the road less taken, the road less traveled, can lead to some of the most fulfilling and valuable experiences in your life, right? So yeah, be true to yourself. Be a bit more daring, I guess. That's something that I should really take on as a lesson, as a mindset, because me, 저는 쫄보잖아요, right? I'm scared of everything. And I guess I could take encouragement from Emerson's quote, "Do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail for maybe people after me," right? Yeah, so hopefully you take that quote to heart. As we wrap up today's show, a big thank you to everybody that participated in today's program. 우리 지환님 saying last in your show, 주환님, nobody is last on my show. Everybody's number one. No matter what time you join me, thank you so much for letting me know that you were part of our program. And that'll do it for today's show. Inside Busan was written by Im Soo-jin, hosted and produced by yours truly, Min Soo-shin. Folks, have a good night. I'm going to leave you with our last track. This one's by The Bangles, Eternal Flame. Have a good one.
Do you feel my heart beating? Do you understand? Do you feel the same? Am I only dreaming? Is this burning an eternal flame? I believe it's meant to be, darling. I watch you when you are sleeping. You belong with me. Do you feel the same?
부산을 한 장의 사진에 담는다면 어디로 가야 할까요? 꼬꼬마 시절 이때만큼은 세상을 내려다보며 꿈을 키웠고 용돈을 모아 산 사진기는 아직도 서랍 속에 있습니다. 시간이 흘러 키는 자라고 사진은 어디서든 찍을 수 있는 세상이 되었지만 부산의 진짜 모습을 보기 위해서는 같이 가볼 곳이 있습니다.